Hi everybody, it's Mimi and today is day 15, halfway through the 30-day manifestation program. And today is really about focusing on your story, and we all have one. And what I mean by that is, if you meet someone new, whether it's a friend or a job interview or a dating situation, what is the story that you tell them about your life up till this point? Most often, we're trying to justify where we are at this point. Whether it's talking about something that happened to us in childhood that was traumatic, or it was talking about another negative life-defining situation. And the reason we want to let go of that, we want to get rid of our story, is it stops us from creating a new version of ourselves because we're living from the past. If we're creating a story and a justification around something that happened in the past, we're not living in the present. And as we know, our power to create exists only in this moment. So every time we resurface that story and we resurface that justification from some past event, whether it was yesterday or 10 years ago or 50 years ago, we're living from a past version of ourselves. And our whole purpose, I believe, is to evolve, is to grow, to become more and more conscious, and ultimately to continue creating as we've been created. But we can't do that if we're living from a past paradigm or a past version of ourselves or a past story. So how do you get rid of the story? First, you got to be conscious that you have one, and you got to be conscious of what your story is. So my suggestion today is to focus on or pay attention to what you tell people about yourself, particularly what is born out of a negative event, because really that is what you're attaching your story around. And firstly, become conscious of that. And as you move through the rest of the program, focus on what do you want? What is the new image you want to create of yourself? And therefore, what's the new story that you want to tell? Instead of building your story out of a place of pain or a place of fear or sadness, as we talk about, we are at our roots, in our DNA, love. We are born out of love. And so all of the things that we create, we want to be rooted in love. And that means we want to build our story about ourselves and our identity of ourselves out of love, out of positivity, not from a negative situation, particularly a negative situation that hurt you and upset you and put you in a place of pain. Reliving that over and over and over again and wrapping your identity around that is negative. That is going to hold you back. So today, focus on and tune into, what is the story that I'm telling people about myself? Why am I telling people that story? Why do I feel like I need to justify myself from a previous event? And who do I want to be today? Wiping the slate clean, Control Alt Delete your previous life, and who do you want to be today? And how do you want to talk about yourself? I think so often we think that telling that past story and coming from a place of pain is something to be celebrated. And we don't need to do that to ourselves. That's kind of a whole survivor mentality. And we all have had challenges in our life, but we don't need to define ourselves by that moment. We don't need to define ourselves by that moment. We don't need to define ourselves by any past moment. Because if we're doing that, we're not living from the present. We're not staying rooted in our power, and we're not continually evolving who we are, which is the whole point of living. So tune into yourself today and really focus on how you talk about yourself to other people, what story you tell. And you probably have more than one story. Depending on, you're probably going to have a career story, you're going to have a relationship story, you're going to have a health story, you're going to have a money story. So pay attention to those stories. Try and connect back to, where does the story come from? What is the story rooted in? Where does the story come from? And who do I want to be today around this aspect of my life. For example, if you've had a long health battle and you've defined yourself by that health battle, what would it mean for you to let go of that story? And no doubt we attach ourselves to story because it's a place of comfort, right? It's a place of safety, particularly if you've been telling that story for years and years and years. So what comes up when you think about getting rid of that story? Most often it's going to be fear, it might be anger, it might be sadness. It's unreleased emotion around that event that in many cases is going to hold you back. So dig into, what would I need to let go of this story? And what would I need to create? Who would I need to be to start fresh today, neutral, without any of that past baggage, without that past story? And how does that person connect to who I want to be and what I want to create in my life? So I hope you have fun with that today. Have fun with, being conscious of the stories that you've been creating about yourself that just hold you back and don't keep you rooted in today, and don't keep you rooted in who you really are, because we're not the past. We're not what has happened to us. We're who we want to be in this moment, and that is a divine being who's here to create, rooted in a place of love. So I hope that you have an amazing day, created from a place of love. All the best. Bye.